Sure, politicians say they want to cut the federal deficit, but the choices on how to do that are tough. We asked the Republican U.S. Senate candidates how they do it.
For the fourth straight year, the country is running $1 trillion in the red. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. First tonight at 10, we continue our series on the key issues in the U.S. Senate race. Businessman Eric Hovde, former Governor Tommy Thompson, former Congressman Mark Newman, and Assembly Speaker Jeff Fitzgerald face off on next Tuesday's Republican primary. Tonight, the 19's Theo Keith asks how they would solve the federal debt crisis without harming people in need.
In 2001, there was a budget surplus. About a decade later, not anymore.
My approach is we have to make the case to the American public that this additional $1 trillion in spending that we've done a year, what has it given us? An ever-increasing unemployment rate and an economy that's barely growing.
Eric Hovde wants a business-style audit of government. Cuts for everyone. Tommy Thompson puts a number on them, 5% for every agency.
I'm the only candidate that's ever run a federal department, so I know what I'm talking about.
And I am very proud to be part of it.
Thompson was Health and Human Services Secretary in the George W. Bush administration. He says he wanted budget-cutting power as secretary, but didn't get it.
And the problem is in Washington, nobody ever gets rid of anything. They just add money to it. My program will first reduce every budget by 5% and allow the secretary, the people that run the department, to be able to reorganize and get rid of the programs that are not working.
We have a list.
Mark Newman has a list of 150 cuts he'd make, some small, some big, like cutting the federal non-defense workforce by 15%.
We've actually written a plan to balance the budget again. I took 6 months writing this. It's not a political document. It's real. The numbers are there. And that balances the budget in a 5-year period of time by cutting $1.4 trillion of spending and eliminating Obamacare.
As passionate as you are about this argument, we are on this side as well.
Jeff Fitzgerald says he's proven he can make tough decisions.
I think you have to look at entitlement reform, the way we looked at collective bargaining reform here in the state of Wisconsin and had to make those tough choices and to get the budget back in line. I think you're going to have to do that with entitlement reform.
He says everyone needs to sacrifice, and he'd even consider raising the Social Security age.
I think if you are truthful with people and tell them right now we have to reform these to make us solvent again and to balance a budget, I think people are ready for that.
Hovde agrees that Social Security needs to change.
If you're 50 years old and older, we're not going to touch it. If you're under 50, we need to add 2 years to retirement age. If you're under 40, we're going to need to add 2 more years, and if you're under 30, maybe another year.
But Newman says the cuts can come elsewhere.
What we did is after we balanced the budget, we got America on track to pay off a debt. We laid out a plan much like a homeowner would pay off their mortgage in 30 years. When you pay off the federal debt, the money goes back into the Social Security Trust Fund, and Social Security is good to about 2030.
Now, interestingly, all of these candidates have gone positive in their latest TV ads, some of them debuting today, but there's been a lot of mudslinging in this race. You're going to hear why tomorrow night at 10 to finish up our series at 6. We're going to look at health care, over which the candidates have also been attacking each other.
Well, lots of interesting ideas tonight. More tomorrow.
You bet.
Theo, thank you very much.
Yeah.